is it that they're all out right now, and who they playing against?
Hey,
Allball
listen,
TV
man.
Friday. What's going on?
Hey, we in the building, man. All Ball is in the building. Fabian is in the building, man. Allball TV. Hey, hold on. Kyrie Irving among Maverick role players are ruled out tonight versus the Bulls. Dallas lost 7 of their last 10 games. They are 5-11 in games with Luka and Kyrie together. That is horrendous.
Against the Bulls tonight? That's who the Mavericks are playing?
Now, yeah, Mavericks play Bulls tonight. Kyrie, with about 5 other role players, are out. Tim Hardaway Jr., Green, a couple others. They didn't say anything about Luka. But Kyrie Irving and about 4 or 5 role players are ruled out tonight versus the Bulls.
Greetings to the boss man.
Oh, man, boss man, how you doing, my brother? Now, my thing is Dallas giving up? Because if I'm not mistaken, shouldn't they be maybe a couple games out of the play-in, or are they done?
No, they're in the play-in. They're tied with Oklahoma City. They're half game behind.
Listen, man, this Dallas Mavericks thing is a mess. And Tim Hardaway Sr., not Junior, Tim Hardaway Sr., the original killer crossover king, he made a comment. And he has a problem with Luka and Kyrie as far as their leadership. Listen, man, this thing is a mess, man. Look, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, and Christian Wood are ruled out today, along with Kyrie Irving. The Dallas Mavericks have packed it in. The Dallas Mavericks have packed it in. Big shout out, boss man.
So,
and it's in Dallas tonight. That game is in Dallas. So I wonder how the Dallas fans feel.
And it's against the Bulls, right?
Yes.
Okay, where's the schedule at, man? Upcoming games. They just played Sacramento. And the night. So what's the excuse? Because it's supposed to be back-to-back games. They tanked it. They tanked it.
They tanked. There's no excuse.
Dog, they're playing San Antonio in 2 days.
Yeah,
and San Antonio's been they beat Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken, and they've been competitive lately. And they've been tanking. You know that.
Yeah, of course. Hey,
this is crazy.
Once again, I'm going to keep saying it. The Dallas Mavericks are a mess. And I'm giving blame. It starts up top. Luka and Mark Cuban gets the most blame, my opinion. I'm sorry.
So Luka's playing, from what we know.
They didn't say anything about Luka being ruled out. Kyrie, Tim Hardaway, Green, Wood, and Kleber is out for tonight. They did not say anything about Luka.
Wow.
Yeah, against the Chicago Bulls.
And it's funny because we had him on the docket for we just get right into the Mavericks then, man, because we talked about I did I went against my word about the whole rat talk, but for me it's there's a level of integrity with someone when you're doing business. Like Mark Cuban sounds like a crybaby, and again you weren't in there. Oh boy, we missed you yesterday, man.
Oh, missed y'all too.
Yo, we had a guy, some dude, shout out to Nice. He pulled up, big Knicks fan, talking all the Knicks stuff.
Nice.
But we were talking about the Mark Cuban thing, and it's like, I get it. He's a busy guy. You're a billionaire. All right, maybe it's too many things on your plate, bro. Because how do you come off that way? Like, if that's Jalen Brunson's agent, you threw him under the bus. You're basically throwing Jalen Brunson's father under the bus. He's still another player. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ackright, to Alexander Acker.
Yeah, big shout. Yes, good brother.
You and shout out to Coach Kyle. You guys were interviewing him the other day. He just sent me a DM with Nate McMillan talking about how the international players are coming in more ready than the American players.
Who sent you the DM?
Alexander Acker.
Oh man, beautiful, big shout. Yes, because he's over there in Italy. And he has his program, so he see what's going on over there. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, and it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what Kobe talked about 7-8 years ago when he said, yo, all the NBA coaches, they were going through like a whole, like their own little circuit of teaching the people out there basketball. I guess maybe Mike D'Antoni in the 90s. and a lot of guys in Italy. So Kobe just happened to be out there learning from them as well. So shout out to Alexander Anchor because he's out there. Now, this is why you kind of get stuck in the middle with what Mark Cuban is talking about, referencing the AAU guys. Like, yo, the way they're learning, he's not appreciating it because they're really echoing the same thing. But Mark Cuban, you got the Euro you wanted, and you threw away a Jalen Brunson dude. Clearly, you just overlooked this. And these mistakes, they just can't happen. Should we be surprised about this if you traded your whole team away for Kyrie Irving? Basically?
Well, I'm gonna be real. You see, I'm kind of flabbergasted because I'm mind-boggled that a team with two superstars like that just give up. Mm-hmm. I still think if they get in the playoffs, they can be a threat to somebody. When you have two players at that caliber, you always have a chance. I'm sorry. The move was the right move. It just didn't work out. See, in business, which Mark Cuban, I can, he's a great businessman because of, his endeavors and his ventures and things he's a part of and being the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. So, of course, I'm not going to sit here and say he's not a smart man, but you made a bad business decision. With the Brunson, remember, in business, you lose deals, you make deals. You lost that deal, move on. Don't cry over sour milk. Now, him getting Kyrie, to me, it's a gift and a curse. The gift is you getting a superstar, you getting a player of that caliber, but the curse is it may not work out because of his past of dealing with other teams. Once again, I don't care about what goes on outside. I'm talking about on the court. Before LeBron, he couldn't do anything with Cleveland. Boston couldn't get past the second round. So I think Mark Cuban gambled and he crapped out. He had a 20 in a deal and pulled the 5-card 21 on him. I know the feeling, Mark Cuban. If you worth $4 billion, I'm $4 billion short. But I know the feeling.
Right. And I also think he's trying to cut on the cap because those other guys he would have had to have paid too. Dorius Finney-Smith and all of them.
Right.
And Kyrie's coming off the books this summer, whether we like it or not. And maybe he likes his chances with, negotiating with Kyrie, that contract. He's still a viable piece, but then, trying to rebrand somewhere. Maybe it's some other free agents that we're not paying attention to right now that can join the Luka Doncic's of the world and Kyrie Irving.
You know what I think Mark Cuban was doing? His star player asked for help, and he tried to accommodate his star player because in the back of his mind, Luka may not want to stay there. So it's like, let me give my star player what he wants, just to hopefully have that in the back of his mind. So when it's time to, sign that big contract to where you could be a Dallas Maverick forever, maybe he did it for that. Because once again, if I'm Luka, and listen, I'm not saying this because I'm a Knicks fan. All y'all players rushing to go to all these other cities. New York City will be in the palm of you guys' hands. Nothing like the Garden. Me and my guy been there numerous times. Listen, man, at the end of the day, Mark Cuban right now is in a bad predicament. I don't think Luka is happy. I really don't.
See, and it's funny because he said, remember, y'all was saying the same thing about Giannis. You were wondering what was going to happen until he won. He said, winning a championship cures everything. So I get that. But you 20 years in the game, Mark. Like, again, how is this not the same thing as Steve Nash leaving?
But
the rules are changing. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. Y'all made it to the Western Conference Finals last year.
Exactly.
So, okay, why not keep that core and maybe, just build the right way? Why you tried to hit the home run? So you went from you hit a single, you stole and got a double, and then you just skipped the triple and tried to hit a home run, and you fell crazy.
But ball, it's Steve Nash, Tyson Chandler, and Jalen Brunson. Wouldn't any one of us, like, just talking basketball? We want people to come into the Garden. We saw Tyson Chandler, Defensive Player of the Year. We show him again. Not only Tyson Chandler, but Jalen Brunson comes from over there.
Hold on.
So they both are viable guys.
And then look what Steve Nash does in Phoenix.
Right. So a lot of this is the algorithm game. And you know, we always talk about it because we're on YouTube and we see the algorithm and we see why like a Stephen A. Smith and these guys go crazy because they keep following these leads of what the most popular topic is. And maybe for Mark Cuban, he's trying to play this, you know, this experiment game. Again, Daryl Morey, same thing. You haven't won, buddy. You should be on the hot seat because what are you guys coming from this? Steve Ballmer comes from the tech world, the owner of the Clippers.
Right.
He doesn't really have, he's just on the sideline cheering. He's kind of loud on that side, but he's not Mark Cuban.
Yeah, but let's not forget Steve Ballmer got Jerry West over there. So remember, Jerry West got enough cachet to where he's going to be allowed to do his job, and he's great at that job.
Oh, yo, that's such a great point because guess what we brought up 2 days ago? Donnie Nelson Jr. is gone. Rick Carlisle are gone. They know basketball more than you do.
Hey, listen, it's starting to look a little Jerry Jones-esque over there. Listen, man, it's a new day. These guys want to be social media stuff. Listen, some of these owners want to be treated like the players. Like, do you see Ballmer in the seats going crazy? Like, let's not act like none of these owners want to be known as well. Imagine if you're an owner and you could take the train and don't nobody know you own the Clippers. Hey, man.
That's the flyest thing ever.
Listen, that's Kaiser Soze, but these guys don't want that. They want to be social media stars as well. Look at Joe, man, buckets. Smiles for cupcakes. You know, we love you to death. Boss man, love you. Turbo, all in the building already. Don't think some of these guys don't want to be social media and known figures as well, man. Listen, it's a new day, bro. I'm telling you.
No, but you hit it on the nose with the Jerry Jones thing. Same city, same everything, man. And damn, it's also going back. We didn't even touch on this point with Isaiah and Michael Jordan and Charles Oakley and these guys just yapping it up. Like, how can you tell Kevin Durant? How can Charles Barkley tell Kevin Durant that he's sensitive, right? When Isaiah Thomas is still beefing with Michael Jordan and vice versa, and Charles Oakley is calling him out. My point is, I think that's a veer left. But my point with that is, that's why I gave Caitlin Clark her props the other day or yesterday. Caitlin Clark, she had every reason to go, hey, yo, man, you know White Lives Matter. She had every reason to go jump with MAGA and everything. But what did she say? It was all about competition, man. I'm a fan of hers. Why is it that she's 19, 20 and acting like more of an adult than Mark Cuban in terms of business? Listen,
and I'm going to explain to you. Once again, nobody hasn't said this yet. These players are preparing for their life after basketball. Listen, hey, man, that's Boss Man on the comments, man. One thing on our show, man, we love the comment, we love the engagement, and we want to make sure everybody's being seen and being heard. But let me say something, man, and I haven't heard anybody say this, and on AllBallTV, we say a lot of things that don't nobody say, and then it winds up happening on TV 2 months later. So that's why we got to start sharing, reposting everything. Hey, man, these owners, they want to be superstars, man.
Yep.
They want to be superstars. This is part of the world today. Nobody wants to be Joe Cool. Everybody wants to be in front of the camera. Everybody wants to be known. Everybody wants they want the props for everything. Now, just imagine how we would have been talking about Mark Cuban if this would have worked out. When Dallas made that trade, they was in the 4th seed. Imagine they'd have went on a 10-game winning streak and been in the 3rd or 2nd seed. We'd have been praising Mark Cuban. But nobody is going, hey, bro, you made a mistake. Man up. Learn from it. Move on. Don't cry. Don't throw in subliminals. Don't throw Brunson Pops and his man and everybody under the bus. For what?
And again, we got to compare it to me. It's a direct comparison with someone like the Steve Ballmer, because Russell Westbrook and even Bones Highland, they were kind of thrown off. They're castaways from their own respective teams. But guess what? They kind of understood. We got Ty Lue at the helm, who that whole Clipper fan base, including Charlotte Don Dropper, threw him on, was saying he was done. They were acting like he was Tom Thibodeau. So for me, when you have an owner that just sees the big picture, you have enough pieces there anyway, just in case Bones Highland doesn't work, just in case Russell Westbrook doesn't work. It's all like an experiment that's going to work out, but you need the right people in place. Again, like you said, Lawrence Frank, Jerry West, Ty Lue, all winners.
That's it. Listen, that core right there, that's the Rat Pack, man. Listen, if you don't have that in place in your organization, you're in trouble. Like today, yo, man, the skill set on these players, the mindset of these players, we may not like how they move and how they get around, but it's the way of the world. These guys is worth $500 million. They thinking about basketball. They thinking about life after basketball, like Boss Man said. So if you don't have strong minds and people that's tough, that can give you great advice and have that cachet that we talking about, you in trouble. I'm sorry.
You hit everything on the nose, Allball. We totally agree about this because, again, like we talk about with the algorithms and what works. Stick with what works. We know what YouTube was working. We always remind each other, yo, what works? And Mark Cuban, why do you constantly go against what works? Like, that just makes no sense. It's just...
No, it does make sense. It's always worked for him.
What does?
Listen, him doing the total opposite. It worked. Remember, for some people, certain things, it works for them. It doesn't mean it's right. But right now we seeing it don't work. Yo, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm an older guy and I'm starting to understand. Like when we was down at big shout out Brooklyn Basketball Academy, when Coach Kyle showed us where Steph Curry was pulling from, what I said?
This is crazy.
No, I said I got to start putting respect on a lot of players' names. My point is, Mark Cuban, get out your own way. That genius that you think you are, excuse me, I'm never gonna be disrespectful, but the genius you was 10 years ago, today that don't work. Get the right people in play and let them do their job, and just sit back and be the owner. Get a great GM, get a great assistant GM, and get a good coach with the coaching staff and let them do their job. And I'm sorry, Jason Kidd, you in my top 5. You number 5 for me. Greatest point guards all time. You are terrible right now as a head coach.
Well, I gotta disagree with that because of last year's success, but that's my thing. Like, even the way you put it, right? Go with what works. So you had all this leadership there that worked with Donnie Nelson Jr. and Rick Carlisle. You chose Luka. Then you happen to strike gold with Jason Kidd and Nico last year with that team and totally went against it. Remember, Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison have not shown any success as far as being in those positions. And the first sign of it that they had, you just totally flipped the team around, which he did acknowledge. He acknowledges all of this. He tried to accept accountability, but he shot himself in the foot with just talking crazy about the other players. And you can ruin relationships that way. Like the way he's been coming off, he kind of, like you said, you're right, man. You're right. He wants to be a star, a social media star. He kind of enjoys being in the front like that.
Listen, before we get off this topic, everybody gives Dallas a pass. Everybody loves Kyrie. Everybody loves Luka. But Allball, I can't go for that. No, no can do. I can't go for that. Nope. Got to be held accountable. I told you my new motto. 2 superstars, I don't care who's the role players. That's enough to get to the playoffs. 2 superstars of that caliber. Miss me with the rest of the players. Now, if you get to the first round to get bumped, hey, I respect you. But it's players that's dragging their teams to the playoffs and do not have 2 superstars on their team like that. So for the Dallas Mavericks to just fold like that, like a beach chair, man, listen, man. Mark Cuban, J. Kidd, Kyrie, Luka, my motto, I ain't saying it in a long time, and I ain't going to curse. Get them all out of here.
Out of here.
You fill in the blank.